right, I want to go to another remarkable story. This one is with Ken Smith. He's the former director of the New England Center for the Homeless Veterans, and he had kind of a run-in with Mitt Romney while he was running for Senate, right?
Yes, in 1994, Mitt Romney was running for Senate against Ted Kennedy.
And this is this starts out as a bad story. He makes a huge gaffe.
Well, yeah, he kind of does. This particular shelter, which is huge, it's an old VA hospital right in downtown Boston. It's got 500 to 600 guys living in it who are homeless. They're all registered to vote, so we asked the candidates to come in. First, Ted Kennedy came in, spent, 30, 40 minutes looking around. Then, a couple of days later, Mitt Romney comes in. And it's kind of like this. There's a lot of TV cameras. There's newspapers. He's got staff. It's a circus. But the first thing Mitt Romney did, he sat down at a table and said, "Can I look at the books?" I said, "Absolutely." We're a charity. Come on. So he sat for about 30, 35, 40 minutes and just went through the books of the institution. Then he asked for a tour, and this is a very big place. This is, a 200,000 square foot old hospital. So we brought him through the entire facility. He was very impressed. And now it's time to leave. So he's at the front door, and he's telling me, Ken, this is a very incredible program. And, you're not warehousing people, and I'm very proud of it. And, but, what's your biggest problem today? And so I said, milk. And he looked at me and said, milk? What do you mean, milk? So I said, well, the biggest problem is I give each of these veterans a pint of milk at dinner and a pint of milk at breakfast. I have over 500 of them, so it's 1,000 pints of milk a day, 7,000 pints of milk a week. And so I'm in trouble with, the milk bill. And so he pulled me aside and he said, well, maybe you should teach homeless veterans how to milk cows. And,
not a smart, with TV cameras there?
TV cameras, newspaper reporters, everyone. Then he leaves. Some reporter comes over and says, did he just tell you to have veterans milk cows? And I said, yeah.
But it was a joke, or was he serious?
At the time, I didn't really know.
Okay.
I don't, he's got kind of a strange funny bone, I guess. So
yeah, no, he's a very...
I didn't know.
He's hard to read. Yeah.
The guy is a business guy. He was laser focused on the programs we did. So, so now the newspapers get it. It's a big deal. And the next day, they're killing him. So he called me and said, number one, I apologize. I own this. I did this. And I'm so sorry that I've done something to affect your program in a negative way, if at all possible. And, I'll see what I can do to try and help you out with your milk problem.
Okay.
And I kind of,
whatever, politician.
Yeah, whatever, politician. The following Friday, our milk guy shows up. He offloads 7,000 pints of milk. He has 7,000 pints of milk and gives us the bill, and it's half price. So I figured, wow, that's great. And didn't think about it again. The next milk delivery, it's the same thing. The following milk delivery, a month, 2 months, 3 months. And I'm like, wow. And I would ask the milk guy, who was a veteran, like, who's doing this? And he said, I can't tell you. And this went on for not 3 months, 6 months, or a year. It went on for 2 years.
Holy cow.
At the end of this 2-year program, the milkman retired. It was like his last day. He was coming in to deliver the milk today. It's his last day, and we pulled him aside and said, John, who's been buying the milk? Who's been doing this? And he said, Romney. So I wrote a little note, thank you very much. There was never any press about it. There was never any press releases about it. Romney's generosity has helped tens of thousands of veterans who are homeless, who've been through this facility with nourishment. And, the milk carton said the name of the milk company. It didn't say donated by Mitt Romney or USAID or...
And he didn't want it to be known.
Not at all. And not even to me. So that told me something about him as a man. And subsequently, a couple of years later, he becomes governor. 3, 4 years later, he becomes the governor. And at a meeting once a year, the charity has to go into the government and show their budget. First, the government says, here's how much we're going to give you, and then you say, here's how much we need. Well, when it's, here's how much we're going to give you, you look at the food part of it, and the food part of it was doubled. So the guy remembered that
you were struggling.
Totally. And so, as a business guy, he's like a laser beam. You know, I think earlier I heard you say, you know, he can fix the stuff.
Engine.
He can fix the engine. He is the mechanic that's going to fix an engine. And he cares about the American veteran, you know, in a way that's very similar to the stories you've already heard. He doesn't ask for anything in return. He never. If I didn't tell you this, you wouldn't know.
And anybody print this story before? Anybody calling you and trying to print this story? No. And you're a Catholic, right?
I'm a Catholic. I'm a parishioner of Our Lady of Mercy Church in East Greenwich, Rhode Island. So, and you know, my family and I are not. And veterans are non-denominational.
Right. I know.
So, you know.
I know. I'm only asking that question because I know that somebody's going to say, "Oh, well, you know."
This is all about being a Mormon.
Yeah.
No, and you know, he didn't do this because I'm a Catholic, and he didn't do it because I'm not a Mormon. I think he did this because in his character, he saw this need, felt bad because somebody had kind of pulled the covers on his funny bone, and said, you know what, I'm going to make this right.
And most of us, I contend, would be too afraid to call you in the first place because it would just let it go away, which would lead to your problem and my problem. But the rest of us probably would have only called to apologize and then said, I did my part, or maybe one week, but
possibly
certainly not 2 years and without anybody knowing. Thank you so much. Back in a minute, one more amazing story to share.